Thank you, Michael, and thank you to everyone here for coming tonight to help us celebrate the first African city to win the Sustainable Transport Award. We're honored to have also the CEO of the Moscow Traffic Control Center here representing Moscow's honorable mention. And I especially want to welcome the Tanzanian delegation that we're honored to have here with us tonight, representatives from the Office of the President, the Tanzanian ambassador, and the chair of the board and CEO of DARTS, Dar es Salaam's Rapid Transit System. We are honored to have you. Thank you so much for being here. These cities are here tonight because they have made things happen on the ground, and we expect them to continue being an inspiration. I think there are three big distinguishing facts that set these cities apart. First, they have persevered, sometimes taking over 10 years of effort by enlightened city leaders, technical experts, and tenacious civil society advocates to push through the positive change. Second, they've been transformative. Moscow upgraded every mode of sustainable transport. There's a new Circle Metro line, a more frequent direct bus system citywide, upgraded streets for better safety for pedestrians and cyclists. And meanwhile, Mexico City's parking reform is the most progressive policy of its kind that we have seen in the world. It will improve housing affordability, it will shorten commutes, reduce congestion, cut greenhouse gas emissions and harmful air pollution, and improve job accessibility. How is that for a parking reform? It's transformative. And third, all these cities are inspirations. They are inspirations for other cities throughout the regions and around the world. Dar es Salaam's Sustainable Transport Corridor is a watershed moment for East African cities. Citizens for the first time are experiencing truly dignified, safe, healthy experiences as they walk, cycle, and take public transit. Women often outnumber men on the BRT, which serves markets, job centers, schools, neighborhoods. It's the lifeblood of the city. And Dar has done this with limited resources. As the city expects to now double its population to 10 million people by 2030, Dar is planning 5 additional corridors and inspiring cities throughout the region. Nairobi, Kampala, Kigali, Addis, and Cairo are all planning major BRT systems with high-quality walking and cycling, and they're coming to Dar to find inspiration for their growing populations. Finally, this takes a community, and I want to congratulate not only ITDP's offices for the outcomes in these cities and many others this year, from Guangzhou to Peshawar to Rio, but also our community of partners here in this room for fighting alongside us for better lives and better cities. And there are so many partners here, I could not possibly name you all, but just a few who I've met earlier tonight: UN Habitat, GIZ, Despacio, WRI, the World Bank, CAF, KFW, NACTO, and many, many others. We together are making a difference to help cities persevere, transform, and inspire, much as these cities have done. I want to take this opportunity, too, to recognize and thank ITDP's board members. So we have our board chairperson, Heather Thompson, here with us tonight. Heather, where are you? Please stand up. From San Francisco, thank you for being here. And look, there you are, yes. Also, Michael Replogle, ITDP's founder, Gerhard Menkoff, our emeritus board member. Please stand. And our generous funders for this event and for the Mobilize Summit, the World Bank, the Hewlett Foundation, GIZ, and the Volvo Research and Education Foundation, along with our other supporters here tonight, the Toyota Mobility Foundation, Asian Development Bank, and ICS from Brazil. None of this would be possible without your hard work and your generous support. So here's to the future that we want. Let's give a round of applause to our supporters, to each of you, each other as partners, and to these progressive cities for putting people first. Thank you. Michael.
Thank you, Clayton. Next, I'd like to invite one of the Sustainable Transport Award Committee members and lead economist at the World Bank, Arturo Gardila Gomez.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. I'm delighted to be here because recognizing sustainable transport means that we're recognizing courage. Implementing a BRT line is not easy. Implementing the policies, the comprehensive set of policies that Moscow implemented, takes courage, takes political capital, can cost mayors or presidents their jobs. It's not easy. It takes a lot of work. It takes many years, and we need to recognize that above all. We are seeing in both cities important gains. From Dar es Salaam, we are hearing of time savings above 50% of what used to be the baseline travel time. We are hearing of people experiencing a better transport that can be improved further, by the way, and needs to be improved further. Don't rest on the triumph up to now. You need work to do, still pending. And let me emphasize that Africa, following the example of Dar es Salaam, can wake up to the revolution of BRT. Using the example of two countries in Latin America, let me illustrate some of the positive economic impacts, economic development impacts of bus rapid transit. My home country, Colombia, and Mexico. 20 years ago, who would believe those crappy bus operators would ever be able to be operators of a complex, but not rocket science, bus rapid transit system? When in 1998 the mayor of Bogota proposed Transmilenio, people said what I listened to in Dar es Salaam when I visited a couple of years ago, those operators will never be able to operate within the bounds of a contract, within timeline, within schedules, with quality. They pulled it off, just as the operators in Dar es Salaam, the current one, is doing, following a contract, getting access to capital, getting access to modern buses and knowing how to operate them. My home country now, from importing planning and engineering services in engineering, mostly from Brazil, by the way, now exports. Mexico followed a similar trajectory from importing planning services, just to use that indicator, to now being a net exporter of planning and engineering services in transport. The economic development impact or linkages of BRT are enormous. Africa is waking up to BRT, and not only the World Bank but other co-financiers, as well as the myriad of partners here, are ready to help Africa wake up to a revolution to improve public transport, to link it with urban development, to put people first. Thank you.
Thanks, Arturo. Now, one of the things that's so great about this Sustainable Transport Award is that for many of the winning cities, the award is just the beginning. Once you've done the hard work, navigated the political landmines, and seen results on the streets, these cities often become real leaders and continue to build momentum for ever greater mobility achievements. This has been the case with our 2012 winner. And Clayton had alluded to the 2012 winner, Mexico City. They're not winning an award tonight. They, in fact, received several honorable mentions before winning the award finally, but they have not stopped since then. If you were here with us last year, you may remember that our keynote speaker made a special announcement. In 2017, Mexico City passed the most progressive parking policy yet for any megacity. We were honored that our speaker used this event to announce the policy, and even more honored that she's back this year with an update. Please welcome the Undersecretary of Planning for Mobility in Mexico City, Laura Ballesteros.
Thank you, Michael, for this warming welcome. Thank you, the ITDP, for this invitation, and also I want to thank the Committee of the Sustainable Transport Award for all this work. Good night, everybody, and Happy New Year. As you may know, last year I had the honor to be a keynote speaker in this amazing night to announce at that time what it's supposed to be one of the most wonderful tools for planning of mobility, and also one of the most important challenges in the change of the mobility model. And we are talking about the change of our parking regulation. And as you may know, because Clayton also today talked about this in his previous speech, I want to say to everybody here that mission accomplished. Mexico City right now has his new parking regulation, which it is not just one of the most wonderful planning tools for our city, it is also a very important finance support for the mobility agenda and the sustainable transport infrastructure. We achieved 3 different keywords in this specific regulation. The first one, it was governance. This is one of the most strongest actions and strategies that you can pursue in your own cities. It is important to have the support not just of the public sector, also of the citizens and also of the private sector. And this is one of the things that we did in Mexico City in order to achieve this regulation. Governance, urban governance is very important. Number 2, public support. You need to work with the media. The press wants to help in this agenda, and it is important for us to explain them about the achievements that we're trying to get with all this sustainable transport agenda. So it is important to start talking with them and build with them. And number 3, as I mentioned, a very important and powerful finance tool. We got right now working with us hand by hand the urban development industry in order to invest in the public transport infrastructure with this regulation. So it is important to understand that we can work together, that we have to build a better city working together, and understanding that what we are talking right here, it is not just about more vehicles, sustainable vehicles or public transport systems. We are talking about inclusion, equity, and also democracy. And that is why it's so important to keep walking, to keep working, and to stay together, because this network is the kind of network that not just enforced our agenda, also that make and create family. So thank you very much, and thank you for this invitation again.
Thank you, Laura. So now we get to the point where we induct the new members of the family. Mexico City continues to be an inspiration, and I wanted to mention that while some of these cities may have spent over a decade trying to do things, the committee really looks at what the city has done in the preceding 18 months. Because the challenges that cities face are so enormous, we are looking for those that are able to accelerate implementation, given the governance challenges, given the institutional challenges, given the capacity challenges. So now let's get to our honorable mention tonight. A megacity that has momentously taken its mobility reforms to match the scale of its challenges. Over the past year, Moscow has implemented many international best practices to humanize the streets and improve urban quality of life. They've introduced a new integrated train line, the Moscow Central Circle, which is a 54-kilometer rail ring with 31 new stations. They organized the Megastral bus network, introduced new high-frequency bus routes, and a new direct service plan. The My Street Complete Streets program has led to the reconstruction of 61 streets in the city center to make pedestrian and cycling conditions better. The city added new crosswalks, sidewalks, trees, lighting, renovated building facades to make the street environment more livable and equitable for people. To accept the honorable mention on behalf of the City of Moscow, please welcome the CEO of Moscow's Traffic Control Center, Vadim Yuryev.
Thank you, Michael. Hello, dear all. Our target is quite simple. We want to make our city better for the citizens. That's it. That's why we need to move in all directions. And what is very important for us, this year was quite hard for our citizens because we make a reconstruction of the 2/3 of the historical center per 1 year, and it cost a lot, and in political capital especially, and that what we did last year, it's a lot of, it's based a lot on our personal matters, involvement. That's his political capital inside it. So thank you for the, very much for the honorable mention, and have a nice evening for everyone. Thank you.
Now we move on to the star of the evening. To present the 2018 Transport Award, we begin first with a video. Cue up video to take a look at what's happening in the city and what they've accomplished.
On the tropical coastline of East Africa is the heart of Tanzania's economy. With a port that makes it a strategic trade gateway for the region, the city enjoys economic growth averaging 7% per year over the last decade, and population growth that classifies it as one of the fastest growing cities in the world. The rapid nature of Dar es Salaam's development has led to many challenges in catering and sustaining its progress. One of the most pressing issues to be addressed is the congestion crisis on road networks. Residents of Dar es Salaam not only waste significant amounts of time, but spend approximately 34% of their average monthly incomes on transport. This limits the resources and productive time available for operating a business. To transform the lives of the workforce and to allow economies of scale to flourish, the city needed enhanced transport facilities that are reliable and cost-effective. The Tanzanian government solution is a high-capacity public transport system with modern buses running on exclusive lanes at the center of major roads. Funding for the critical first phase of the project was provided by the World Bank, allowing it to become a reality by the end of 2015.
Is one of the most critical investments that can be made in Dar es Salaam, given the high rate of growth of the city, nearly 6% population growth a year here in Dar es Salaam, and a population that's projected to reach 10 million people by 2030, and thereby gain the status of a megacity. And one of the most important things to get right in a city of this size is to get an efficient mass transit system in place so that we can begin to realize the productivity of having such a large city here on the coast in Tanzania.
It is a system that can transport around 28,000 passengers per direction every hour, and that gives it the potential to become the core public transportation in the city.
Phase of the BRT system, which we are supporting here in Dar es Salaam, comprises of 20.9 kilometers of trunk routes.
It should be carrying up to 400,000 passengers a day.
So just about the quota of all trips happening here in Dar es Salaam will be carried by the BRT Phase 1.
A significant number of people will have their lives improved.
We would expect to see on key routes a reduction in travel time for commuters by up to 2/3 or more.
mfano kutoka hapa mpaka Kimara natumia dakika 45. Katika usafiri wa kawaida ilikuwa sio kawaida. Unaweza kutumia almost masaa 3-4.
Another thing one saves on money. One who would use fuel for his vehicle, go through the congestion, wake up early, and if you compare that to the price of a trip into the city center, it's a tremendous saving for commuters. One will travel very safely in the buses. It has its own secure lanes, and the bus speeds are up to a maximum of 50 kilometers. So it's a very comfortable ride.
As planned, it's not just about shortening and improving a daily commute. It can and will do much more.
800,000 job entrants, young men and women come into the market every year, and they will find economic opportunities as a result of business growth. Now, the BRT is excellent for business growth.
The BRT system will actually increase mobility here in Dar es Salaam, which actually contributes to the productivity and the contribution to the economy of the country.
Nafanya biashara, nauza begi, natoa Kariakoo, nauza Mr. Bay na hangaika mtaani. Kwa basi kama hizi zinasaidia mimi kwenda na muda kwa siku nzima.
There will be opportunities for small businesses, for medium-sized businesses, around the terminals, around the stations, along the corridors of the BRT. All these opportunities have been shown to be delivered in other cities as a result of this kind of mass transit system. They can happen as well in Dar es Salaam.
And this is just the beginning. As the next phases of the project are realized, the city's residents will be even more empowered to make Dar es Salaam a place of endless opportunities, a city that can reach its true potential, a city that makes its economic mark on a global level.
Thank you to the World Bank for sharing that video. Some of the people who appear in it are here tonight, in fact. So to present the 2018 Sustainable Transport Award, I'd like to introduce you to Naomi Nevada, who is here from the ITDP Africa office in Nairobi. Naomi also founded the Flown Initiative, a group which trains public transport operators in customer service and prevention of sexual violence, and as part of that led a wildly successful anti-sexual harassment campaign, My Dress, My Choice, #MyDressMyChoice. The BBC selected her on their list recently of 100 inspirational and innovative women. Naomi.
Thank you, Michael, for that introduction. Good evening, everyone. I am very pleased and very happy to be here to witness Dar es Salaam being the first African city to win the Sustainable Transport Award. The inefficient, unreliable, and unsafe public transport faced by residents of African cities encourage people to spend valuable resources on personal cars at the expense of education, business investments, medical care, and even savings. African cities are rapidly growing. That's an undeniable fact. The big question is whether the current public transport systems and policies can grow to meet the demand. As African cities work to attain higher levels of development, there's a critical need to improve access to economic, educational opportunities, and health services. ITDP opened the Africa office almost 2 years ago, and we've been supporting African cities such as Lagos, Kampala, Addis Ababa, and Cairo, who have all been inspired by Dar es Salaam's success. Our commitment towards helping African cities design and implement high-quality transport systems and policy solutions that make our cities more livable, equitable, and sustainable is still unwavering. Successful public transport models such as the Dar es Salaam BRT can help inspire other African cities to take bolder steps and accelerate the pace of change. Since the Dar es Salaam opened its doors in May 2016, it has seen a steady stream of visiting delegations from Kampala, Zambia, Ethiopia, Kenya, Rwanda, and beyond. Political leaders, technical staff, and journalists have come to witness the system's transformative impact, with cities across the region planning their own BRT systems, such as Addis Ababa, Cairo, Dakar, Kampala, Kigali, Lagos, and Nairobi, to name a few. The Dar es Salaam BRT system offers a unique opportunity to see a high-quality BRT in the African context. We recognize that this project would not have been possible without the support of the World Bank, and I would like to take this opportunity to invite our friend who has been there since the beginning of this project, Mr. Jonas Mchomvi. He leads the BRT task force at the World Bank office in Dar es Salaam to join me here to present the award. Mr. Jonas.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the effort by ITDP to promote public these kind of public transport and mobilities, non-motorized transport, and also others. But I also take this opportunity to congratulate Dar es Salaam. It was not really smooth sailing. It took us quite some time. I work on the bank side, but finally, at least you have achieved something which is worth being recognized, you know, and this is really a good incentive for all of us to keep the pressure and get things, you know, to raise the bar to get much better systems in Africa. Usually I say BRT is one of the most democratic kind of systems of transport because, you know, it is very difficult for countries like Africa where you have very meager resources to really prioritize the people of a little bit lower income to reach their destinations much, much faster than the vehicle owners. So I'm very proud for Tanzania to really take this initiative and become the first pioneer, and congratulations. Thank you very much.
I'd like to call the Dar es Salaam delegation to the podium to receive the award.
Mr. Tikson Izunda, can you join me on the podium, please? Mr. Tikson Izunda is the Deputy Permanent Secretary in the Presidency Office, responsible for local government and the regional administration is leading the members of delegation from Dar es Salaam, but I thank God and my president for giving me the privilege of leading the delegation and to receive this Sustainable Transportation Award 2018 on behalf of the government and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania. So thank you so much for joining us. This is a moment of joy, and allow me to read my prepared text speech of accepting this historic, prestigious Sustainable Transportation Award. I promise I won't take it long. This is a historical moment. I will read this very brief acceptance speech. And I'm an old man, so I use glasses to support the vision. I thank Michael for the kind words while introducing our delegation. I thank Naomi, and I recognize Mr. Clayton Lane, the Chief Executive Officer, the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy, ITDP, distinguished representatives of the World Bank, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Happy New Year and good evening. On behalf of my government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania, I would like to take this opportunity to express my sincere gratitude to the respected jury members for selecting Dar es Salaam City and honoring us with this prestigious award. I also thank the Institute of Transportation and Development Policy for inviting us to this historical event, Sustainable Transport Award Ceremony, here at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center in this beautiful city, Washington, D.C., in the great country, the United States of America. I bring to this special ceremony warm greetings and best wishes for the new year from His Excellency, Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, the President of the United Republic of Tanzania. Please accept his warm greetings. Ladies and gentlemen, the government and people of the United Republic of Tanzania are greatly honored to receive this prestigious Sustainable Transport Award given to the city of Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. We humbly and happily accepted the award as the first city in Africa to receive such an honor. Thanks to the visionary and decisive leadership of our past presidents and the current president of our country, His Excellency Dr. John Pombe Joseph Magufuli, for exemplary leadership. The exemplary takeoff of our six-phase Dar es Salaam bus rapid transit project, DART system, is due to their good leadership. We also sincerely thank our partners, the World Bank and the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy, ITDP, for the cooperation and support in raising the required finances and technical guidance to achieve sustainable transportation. Ladies and gentlemen, in the late 1990s, specifically 1997, the Dar es Salaam city was facing severe traffic congestion, and the dominant mode of public transport was the local buses, popularly known as Daradala. The presentation showed it all, how we started and how we got here. Mchomvu said it rightly, it wasn't easy from 1997 to today when we get this award. We are not alone, we are with the World Bank and the ITDP. We thank you so much for your support. A number of solutions worldwide for public transit challenges were explored and came up with the bus rapid transit as the most viable option that could alleviate the traffic congestion problem, and that is easy to implement. The BRT addresses the problem of urban traffic congestion in Dar es Salaam city and improves mobility and overall quality of life for people in the city of Dar es Salaam. This testimony is also witnessed by the presentation. You heard the people, especially the poor who are commuters on this brand new BRT system, appreciating the change that came by it. In this award is a great encouragement in our resolve to join a family of environmentally smart cities. Ladies and gentlemen, The success of phase 1 of our BRT is a result of inclusive approach. Hence, the conceptual design was carried out with wider stakeholder consultations and resulted in 6 BRT corridors across the city of Dar es Salaam. In order to quickly implement the design and establish a BRT system, the government of Tanzania established the Dar Rapid Transit DART agency on 25th of May 2007. The DART project is one of the priority transport sector projects that are linked to Tanzania Development Vision 2025, which aims at addressing poverty and improving livelihood in turning Tanzania a middle-income country. The DART system is designed to operate trunk and feeder services with deployment of high-capacity buses that uses an automated fare collection system to increase operational efficiency of the system. This has resulted in the attraction of a huge ridership from first day the buses commenced operations. The construction of BRT phase 1 infrastructure that comprises 20.9 kilometers of trunk routes was supported by the World Bank. We thank the World Bank again, and got completed in February 2016. BRT phase 1 covers exclusive busways, mixed traffic lanes, bicycle and pedestrian walkways, 27 bus stations, 5 terminals, 3 pedestrian bridges, and 1 depot. Interim service commenced on 10th May 2016 with 140 buses, 39 of them being 18-meter articulated buses and 128 of them 12 meters buses. Ladies and gentlemen, with 140 buses already in operation under the interim service procurement agreement, the process of procuring a second operator is ongoing. When completed, an additional 165 buses will be added to make a total of 305 buses. The project has brought a number of benefits that include: 1, the average daily ridership has increased from an average of 75,755 when the services commenced in May 2016 to 200,000 in January 2018, thus providing efficient public transport to many city dwellers and especially the poor. It's people-focused project. We appreciate and we witnessed during this presentation. This has made my speech even easier. So I don't need another witness to verify this. Second, users of the DART system are experiencing savings in travel time and cost. A gentleman on the presentation acknowledged that. For example, a trip that used to take at least 2 to 3 hours before BRT started now takes 30 to 45 minutes using BRT system, DART buses. Another example, a person with a car spends around Tanzanian shillings 20,000, about $10 for fuel per day, while a round trip on the bus costs now Tanzanian shillings 1,300, less than $1. Mathematicians can do the calculation with regard to percentages. I'm not able to do that myself. This is a huge saving that I can confirm, and you will agree with me with that. 3, reduce the congestion in the mixed traffic lanes in the BRT corridors is something to be proud of. Increase the passenger satisfaction due to mobility, comfortability, and the convenience of the buses is another achievement. 5, the DART system has attracted tourists. 6, the DART bus engines are environmentally friendly. And with the discovery of natural gas, we can do even better. 7, reduction in use of cash by passengers through the use of smart cards. 8, creation of employment to around 1,000 people. That includes technical staff, drivers, station attendants, cleaners, security guards, cashiers, and supervisors. 9, business opportunities such as park and ride facilities as a spill effect on the project. 10, the DART system has special provisions for the disabled. 11, improved safety and security along the DART corridors. Ladies and gentlemen, this award inspires to continue constructing the remaining 5 phases, and I'm happy to inform you that the funding commitment has been obtained for 3 phases. We are working on the remaining 2. The government of Tanzania appreciates the cooperation and support accorded to us by the World Bank in financing the DART project, particularly in the construction of infrastructure and providing expertise support. The government of Tanzania is committed to continue cooperating with the World Bank, the African Development Bank, and other partners in implementing the remaining phases, including the Institute for Transportation and Development Policy. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude my award acceptance speech, I would like to invite you to visit Tanzania, enjoy the most beautiful tourist attractions in Africa. We are proud to be the home to peaceful and friendly people. There are several Tanzanians from several states in the United States of America, professors, engineers. Thank you for joining us in this. So this project will be sustainable. There are professors here, there are civil engineers, they will teach young men and children and boys and girls. We are proud to be home of Mount Kilimanjaro, the splendid national parks such as the Serengeti, Arusha, Katavi National Parks, just to mention a few. The famous Ngorongoro Crater, Zanzibar Stone Town, and beautiful beaches. We have a long coastline including Zanzibar beaches, Tanzania mainland and Zanzibar. Please come and enjoy. You are all welcome to visit Tanzania and enjoy yourself, as well as explore trade and investment opportunities available in your beautiful and politically as well as economically stable country. On behalf of the government and the people of the United Republic of Tanzania, I humbly accept this prestigious Sustainable Transport Award. God bless the United States of America. God bless the United Republic of Tanzania. Thank you very much. Karibu Tanzania. Asante sana kwa kunisikiliza kwa utulivu sana.
Thank you, Ambassador H.E. Wilson and Masiling. One thing he didn't mention that Tanzania will be hosting is a new summit in its 3rd year, which the winning City of the Sustainable Transport Award now hosts. The Mobilize Summit will take place from the 26th to 28th of June, so that would be a very good time to visit Dar es Salaam. So now we'd like to show a very quick video just to give you a sense of what Mobilize is and how it took place in Santiago, last year's winner. City will be where we hold Mobilize next year. And the winning city is Dar es Salaam. The objective of Mobilize is to keep the momentum up for the city that wins the award. And now for closing remarks, I would like to invite Juan Carlos Munoz, the director of the BRT Center of Excellence and chair of the Mobilize Santiago host committee, to tell you what since Mobilize in Santiago, the city has continued to do.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's an honor to close this ceremony and tell you a little bit about what has happened in Santiago after Mobilize. It's a city that has in some way been embracing sustainable mobility in a very much faster pace than before. I would like to say that it's quite likely that this momentum has happened because of Mobilize. Probably not. But it's interesting to see that in Santiago, after Mobilize, in some other events, there's a very positive mood, I think, towards sustainable transportation. I think that the media and authorities have become much more keen to accept that the urban space must be allocated differently. And it's very interesting also to see that right-wing local authorities, which were usually very much more keen to promote solutions for the cars, are now advocating for bike paths, are advocating for pedestrian areas, are even advocating for priority for public transport. So, so far, even in such a short period since last June, we've seen some commitments, we've seen some actions that I would like to highlight. In the closing ceremony of Santiago, the representative of the mayor of Santiago said that they were going to push forward a plan to take the urban highway that goes through the middle of the city and put a park that will cover it, which I thought was a great idea that has been around for several years and that will be funded by extending the concession of the freeway. I think it's a great idea. We'll communicate both sides of the downtown of the city. In terms of the metro system, the company has been investing in more lines. The 4 lines have added a new one this year. Another one will be built next year. Of course, this comes from a long time ago that they've been being built. But this year, after Mobilize, the president announced the 7th metro line. So you can see that metro is still playing an increasing role in terms of mobility for the city. And this is an amazing, beautiful picture from the day the last metro line was inaugurated. People were really, really happy to see it. In terms of suburban trains, we have just inaugurated probably the first suburban train with high frequency from the south of the city, which also adds to the rail system, and at the same time is integrated with the fare with the rest of the metro and the buses. In terms of buses, we've seen the inauguration of a new bus corridor. They are not strictly BRT, but still they provide very fast speed and also high capacity. And at the same time, they provide a much more reliable service than when the buses run in the middle of the traffic. So we're very happy to see that we have a new bus corridor that in this case runs parallel to one of the metro lines, which will be a great way to see how people prefer the 2 alternatives and why would you take one mode or the other. This year also we've seen the finishing the process of the bidding of half of the bus companies in Santiago, and it was nice to see that there are 3 new companies coming from abroad that are interested in running some of the new companies of buses in Santiago in the public transport system. So again, it's good news for the system. The city has keep on inaugurating new bike path. One of the most important one, or one of the most emblematic, is one that runs in the river, but there's many others. Another one that is very, very nice is one that happens every Sunday, in which people take the streets in several cities in the city called cycle recreational paths, and this is really one of the best parties in the city every week. And the last project I would like to mention is this one, Calle Bandera, and you can see that this is a very boring street. and the street was being interrupted because of the metro constructions. And the mayor decided that this should be turned, at least temporarily, into a very nice pedestrian area. So this is what the street looks like now. It's really impressive, and this is the first time in Santiago that this is kind of intervention. I should say that probably this would not have happened if the city wasn't supported by this kind of events, telling you, yeah, we like what you're doing, and reinforcing sustainable transport in the city. And you can see, I mean, the project is very visible, very beautiful, and it has received an amazing welcoming from the media and from authorities. So the media is wondering if we should have a full downtown only pedestrian zone, which is something that was probably unthinkable 1 year ago. So at the end, to finish, I think Santiago still faces a lot of challenges. One of the main ones is that we are still buying a lot of cars, and the cars have a privileged space in urban streets in Santiago, and we are not really asking the drivers to pay even a low fraction of the social cost they make. I think there's still a lot of lack of regulation between transport and land use authorities. We lack a metropolitan transport authority, and the bus corridors are being resisted by authorities sometimes and for local neighborhoods. So we have a lot of challenges. But I think, and this is what I would like to say, that in the future for Santiago, I think there's a bright future, because we've realized that we can do much better. And I would like to pass the torch to our friends in Africa, in Tanzania, and invite you to do a great conference, and I invite everyone, and I will be there for sure, I hope, to come to Dar es Salaam and have a great mobilize. Thank you.
So, see you in Dar es Salaam in June or back here next year. That's it, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Take care. Have a good evening.